I believe one or two of them, yes. There was a female that was leading us. She was definitely, like, they were making jokes about her being like a G.I. Jane on steroids. She was the one that was really the impressive one out of all of us. We all had a role to play. There was one other Asian guy. He was our electronics tech, and a little bit of a little bit of explosives, how to make them, C4 complicated stuff. There was a taller Caucasian male. He was definitely like the big heavy guns, and then there was this woman that led us, and she was just absolutely just a beast. She impressed our commanding officers, and as well as our trainer as well, because he was absolutely thrilled with her. Like, he was driving a school bus with no seats inside, and he was like, "Your training starts now, everyone." And then he closed the door, she jumped on the bus, and the whole idea was to get the flag from the front of the bus. So she's just climbing, he's throwing the wheel, he's trying to get her off, swing her off the bus. The other guy, everyone else in the squad, they're running through this course. Like automatic gunfire's going off with us. Turrets are firing. Like, we're dodging bullets, just running up walls. Punching. Through stuff, and then she gets the flag, and our explosives tech guy, he kind of like, he gets the other flag and we get the point, and the training ends, and we get like commended for that. The second time around that I come across, and this is all in 1 week too, all of these dreams were strung together through 1 week. The second time around, it was like a night mission. We had just come back from it, and we were like absolutely exhausted. From what I could decipher, we had been on duty, on mission for a week straight, exhausted, people are cut, I can see our uniforms are just shredded and burned, gunshot wounds, all that stuff. But we're laughing it off. We're just like, another one, like, let's go again. But then we've been relieved to just take the weekend off, have a night or something like that. Everyone's talking like, what are you gonna do? Like, they're gonna let us get high and drunk, like they're gonna let down our programming so we can actually feel fucked up and everything, like actually like enjoy being not so switched on and everything. What are you going for? And one guy's like, I'm gonna get a giant pile of cocaine and just do it all in one go, like, finally I can actually like enjoy that shit. Other guys like, I got 5. The Asian guy, he's like, I got 5 bottles of whiskey, I'm gonna sit with and drink that all night long. And then I said something weird and it threw everyone off. Everyone was like, what is that? I just instinctively, I don't know why, but I said like, hey, if you guys, because I saw a water pipe, I saw a bong there. Someone was gonna like smoke weed or something. They're like, I've never smoked weed before. And they're like, what? Everyone's making fun of it. And like, you've never smoked weed before. He's like, I've been in the program, like, fuck you guys. And they're like, so like, okay, fine, this will be your first time with us. And then I said to them, I was like, have you guys ever tried DMT? And they were like, what? What's DMT? Was this weird energy that shifted in the dream where they were like, what's going on with you, dude? Like, what is that? And everyone's curiosity kind of like, I don't know, caused this like immediate awakening. And I woke up from the dream and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I just said one thing to them and I like got pushed out of my own dream. It's strange stuff like that, where like when I sort of take the reins and I say things that I would normally say, that's when like there's this weird interaction. I get cut off, I get deprogrammed and reprogrammed again to like say less, because I feel like I have this ability of waking people up, and I don't think they like that.
Yeah, let me this question could be either for you too. So recently had a guest speaker on here, and he commented that they would give a lot of drugs at MDF because there's literally nothing to do, and they encourage people to take steroids and all sorts of stuff. They got med tech. So was that the case for either of you two? Do you remember them always encouraging that use?
I'm not just drinking and drugs, but even just food, for example. I remember right after, I guess, the first tour, I was about 9 years old, about to hit 10, and all of a sudden I started binge eating. And I was around the same time my mom purposely kept me from going to the doctor for almost like 5 years. And all I'd be doing was just nothing but binge eating. Like, I'd be eating like crazy. And I'm assuming it must have been either metabolism or just from leftovers and rock walking, because all it ever make us do, if it weren't for drinking and trying to loosen our abilities, is all food. They use it as a method of payment or a method of punishment. And even on missions sometimes, depending on what the mission was, if there was an all-you-can-eat buffet, like, I can remember like all the guys on the rock walking basically swarming replicators and like basically downing on the spot. They don't even get like utensils, they just like shove it in. I mean, it's insane what they do with that. There was also a ton of alcohol from what I remember, like the base one I was telling you about, for example, there'd always be at least a couple open bottles at all times, just because there was almost nothing to do. You couldn't really go off or anything. You're stuck on this asteroid, basically doing border patrol for Knockwappen. So other than whether you get on a computer or a glass pad or maybe something snuck in from Earth, there's nothing really to do except drink or work.
Understood. Okay, well, let's go ahead and move on. So we got a little bit more here to go on this. Let's see here. Okay, Thomas Zurich. Do you remember Thomas Zurich being ripped apart by spiders on the dunes?
Yeah, not by name, but by face, strangely enough. It was this weird, like, the removing of my memories has left me with, like, it's hard to explain. Like, when I go to try and say what I'm seeing, it won't let me describe what I'm seeing, or the face gets removed. All of a sudden, I see the inside. It's like a hollow inside of their head. Like, there's nothing in there. Like, their face has been like CGI'd over or something like that. But like, I remember seeing Thomas go, or Tomas. But like, this is a person that, like, I've been trying to drag the recall back, but every time I do, I get punished, or they're like zapped in my dream, and I get visited again. Like, this is where I'm still trying to figure out how to cut open or cut the ties. It just starts a trip. Like, I don't know how I go from knowing everything I've seen and pulled back out of their grip that they can't take from me intellectually, and the sophisticated part of describing what I've seen and experienced. And then there's certain key details and certain key characters that complete the story, or the vision, or the mission, or the description of whatever I'm trying to explain. And that's the part where it's like a wall. Like, I just run into a fuzzy wall if I try and go past the detail into what I experienced. It's gone, and I start to, it just unravels in my mind, and I let it go. I have to let it go, or else they get to take more of the vision, more of the recall back, and I lose details. So I can't press against that wall. Thomas is one of those people.
Understood. Well, let's move on here. Okay, so Harris was stationed at Lomax. I guess it's a future date, so I guess that means that's when you're going to be discharged in 2025. But so if you started 2007, so that's technically we were actually discussing that before the show. So let's go into Lomax a little bit. So ICC got word of a revolt was brewing in Lomax. Lomax, it's supposed to be with E. Kruger was supposed to suppress the revolt and prevent the insectoids from intervening. Solar Warden personnel were trying to revolt ICC, and Kruger was there trying to stop it. Kruger was already dealing with Knockwaffen defectors, but this was top priority. NXQ, level 31, room 63. Someone interacted with Harris in an astral dream that was living in that room. So you're stationed at the Lomax base in the Rockefeller Barracks. Okay, so for Kruger.
What if you could get your music
so
over 100
we're going to go into some of the
curators,
actual what is Lomax in just a bit. But Harris' rank was major at his time. He was officer.
Even paying a dime.
Yeah, there you go, 2017,
Now you
2019.
can. Introducing Musicvertising's new free Spotify
let me actually
track
bring in
submission service,
Ashton
the
first.
easiest
So why
way
don't
to
you
increase
explain
your
what
chances
this
of
Lomax
getting
facility
listed
is?
in highly
Sure,
popular
do you still have the
Spotify
photos from
playlists.
before?
Now, how does it work? Simply send us your
well,
Spotify
let
track
me
link
double
and your
check.
best email address.
Well, you just search it
Submit
up on
your music to 100
Google
plus
either way.
and vetted Spotify
Okay,
playlist
that sounds like a good
curators.
idea.
Now, if a curator
Give me
loves
a
your
moment
music,
here
they'll feature
while
it
I
in
get
their
my act
playlist.
together. I'm
Get
trying to
new followers,
so
higher
LOMEX,
engagement, more
right?
streams
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
ever
so
before.
do
All of that at no additional
this.
cost to you.
Okay,
100% free. Ready
yeah.
to dominate
Is it a
Spotify?
highway
Then click the button and
that
send
they
us
were
your music
building, or-
now.
Oh yeah, Lower Manhattan Expressway.
Lower. Okay. All right, give me a moment. I will share the screen. Just hold on. Okay. So, all right. Tell us what we're looking at here. So we want brutalist architecture like this.
Welcome back to the Music Industry Podcast.
Yeah.
Today we are with Shima
that's
Siddiqui,
it.
who is the
All concrete,
job title.
very little
Artist community
plastic or
manager at
anything. It's
TikTok.
almost
Artist
all
community
concrete
manager
or
at
slabs of
TikTok, and
rock.
we're very excited to have
Exactly
someone
in
directly
geometric
from
shapes like
TikTok
that.
on the podcast because
All right,
it's 2022
tell us
now, and
what,
it is becoming
so,
such a
they were gonna
important
build
role
this in
artists'
New York, but
career, and
I
most
guess
artists
evidently
now
they didn't
are
have the
actually
money,
breaking
apparently.
Nelson
from
Rockefeller
TikTok.
personally
More of
stopped the project
misconceptions
because
about
they didn't have
TikTok,
enough money
and
and supposed
if you wanna
opposition.
break
But
from TikTok,
being
then Shima is
Rockefellers,
here
they're
to
probably
tell us
expanding on
all
Mars at the
about
time
that.
with
So,
the preludes to the
as a
ICC,
whole, what are
and
the
the
benefits
plans
for
were
an artist? What can an artist
transplanted onto
achieve on
Mars
TikTok?
into their
Yeah, that's a
tunnel
great
systems
question.
and underneath
So I
the
think,
ground
you know,
in order to
TikTok
try and
is a
build a city from
short-form video
scratch. So
platform
instead of the
which
investment
we hope
going
will,
to New
you know,
York
inspire
City,
creativity
they
and
took the
bring
money
joy to
and you
people.
basically
And I think
whistled the way to an
artists
off-road
can
base.
show all different
Lomax
facets
was
of
the
their
result of it.
personalities and who
And
they are
in
as
some of the
artists
other
and their creative
pictures
process
on the search, you can
on
even see the
TikTok.
tunnels.
So, you know, my favorite
well,
thing about
tunnel
TikTok is
setup
just the
and
storytelling aspect.
arrangements they had.
So an artist can go from how they've
Um,
written a song to
yeah,
the recording
that one.
process to actually releasing it.
So you'd
and
have the
performing it
underground
live for the
magleves,
first
your
time,
supply lines,
and
the
then
tunnels
engaging
even
with
have a
their
dart-shaped
fans on the
craft even
platform
down
as
there,
they,
and that's where you'd also
you
have
know,
all your
react to it.
utilities.
And
You'd have
so
all
you
your
can kind
oxygen
of go through the
supplies.
whole
You'd have
journey
all the
of
material
releasing
flowing
music.
through, and
You
then
can also just
above the
show
tunnels,
what it's
the
like to be an
triangular
artist. So I
shape
think
would have
when
been
you're in
holding
the
up
industry,
part of the lava tubes.
going to the
If it weren't
studio,
for the nuclear
going on
blasting
tour,
of the
all of that
construction
feels
tunnels, it would have been
monotonous. It's part of
concrete
the
supports
job.
instead.
But for someone
And
who's
in there
has
would
no
be at
idea,
least 4 to
like, that
5
content's
floors
fascinating.
of
And
offices,
so you can
labs,
show what it's like to be an
residences,
independent musician
followed by
in
a central
London,
courthood or
and what it's
central
like when you're
courtyard
going to the
outlying
studio,
gardens in order to not
what
only
it's like being
grow
on
food
tour.
or
I think
oxygen,
people
but
think being
also
on tour is
just
really
to
glamorous, and
help
it's
people
not
pretend
most
that
of
we're
the
not living
time.
underneath a rapid
And,
rock,
you know,
basically.
everyone's on their phones backstage. Hopefully
The other
creating TikTok
interesting
content.
thing,
And,
Paul
you know, I think
Rudolph
just
was the
showing those
architect of
facets can
Lomax.
really,
He also had
help
connections with
create a
William
fan base
Tompkins
and
for
fans
the U.S.
understand
Navy
who you are
Design
as an
Bureau during the
artist.
Second World War.
What you've
The only
actually
thing is,
described
I don't
is
know
not
how
what I
if Tompkins and
expected,
Rudolph worked
was
directly
expected of an
together,
artist
but
to
it is
create
very
content on
interesting
TikTok.
that
It is-
William
when you
Tompkins,
think
the designer
TikTok,
of most
you're
of
thinking dance
the SSP
routines,
craft, and
you're
Paul Rudolph, the
thinking,
designer of
using
Lomax,
the sounds
happened to be
and creating
connected through
content.
this and how
So,
it all
are you
correlates
saying
back
that
into
an
the
artist
secret
can,
space program.
keep things quite kind
Even
of just
sorry,
general,
just the last
normal types
photo,
of content
story
in
the other
order
way.
to grow their audience. Like what,
There's one.
what would you see an artist doing?
sorry, it's just
in order to say,
What
yeah,
you want me to change the
got it
picture?
down. They know
It's the
that
same
content is
page,
going to
but
fly.
there's something else I
So
wanted
I
to point
think
out
it
too.
depends on the artist.
So
and the
two